Hello guys, what's up? It is Void Mage Gamer here. Gonna talk about why the hell Wizards is just refusing to promote Pauper as a format. It's been a while now that Pauper has been a format. We've all decided we wanted to build these decks. They're really cheap and affordable, and the format's really fun. It's solved to a degree. I mean, blue is obviously the strongest color in this format, but again, it's usually going to be the strongest color in any Eternal format. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's the game. You can't blame it on Pauper. It's always been like that. So this occurred to me that again, it's not hard. I mean, once you understand economics, it's not that hard to really understand why Pauper isn't a format yet. At least a recognized format by Wizards. I mean, you have it on MTGO. They just don't really promote it in products. They don't promote it in like Pro Tours or anything like that. And the main reason why, it's money. It is money. At the end of the day, they are in it to make a shitload of money. They don't care about your bottom line. They care about their bottom line. Sorry if this is news to anyone. I don't know what to tell you. This is pretty much the way the world works. You know, if something makes money, they're going to focus all their efforts onto supporting it. And Pauper doesn't make them money. It doesn't make them much money, I should say. People are still going to be buying the current sets to see what type, of commons they can get. Very rarely will you ever see people that just go online and they just, okay, we're just going to buy a whole bunch of commons from the newest set, because chances are you're going to be spending way too much money on those commons when you could just say, okay, let me just go to my local game store, get these without having to spend too much money online to get them. You could get just people, go to your local game store. They open boxes of these and they have just bulk of commons and uncommons, just shit that they can't move. Just look through all of their cards that, again, they're most likely going to sell them to you for like 15 cents each. I mean, at the most, which is a pretty good deal considering that a lot of stuff on like TCG Player, it's overpriced as far as commons go. But yeah, the average price of a Pauper deck, it varies. If you're kind of just making one on your own, you're not going on MTG Goldfish or looking at any of the net decks, it's going to be much cheaper than, again, the average price for a competitive Pauper deck is about $40 to $50, give or take. But it's still not that expensive. I mean, if you can play competitive Pauper, go ahead and do it. It's incredibly fun. The format is still, it's still young to the degree that, maybe one day we're going to get some support for Wizards. Maybe if we get a good product. I don't know if they're ever going to do that, because it's not going to be super expensive. Commons never have been that expensive. You have just a very, very few number of cards. I mean, Simian Spirit Guide is one of the more expensive commons that comes to mind. But other than that, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know how many others are too expensive, but you get what I'm saying. Wizards, they're selfish as fuck. They don't really care about anything except for making money, and it shows. They don't care about Pauper. They just don't. They just don't care about Eternal formats in general, to be honest. I just think I get that impression. They have given up on Legacy. They have no problem banning shit from Legacy, but they don't support it anymore. They don't support, they don't need to support Vintage. That's pretty much who the fuck plays Vintage except for, people on MTGO and people who play with proxies. But still, they've given up on their Eternal formats, and Pauper is, it's pretty much shown that they're not going to make any money off of their Eternal formats, and especially not off of Pauper, because they're not selling sets. Pauper players are not going to be buying out Amonkhet. They're not going to be buying out Hour of Devastation. They're not going to be doing that. That's all your standard players and maybe your Commander and Modern players, but everybody else is just, okay, I'll trade for what I like in the set, or I'll just straight up buy it, but I'm not going to be giving you guys this revenue for something I don't really care about. That's where I'm at the point where I don't play Standard. I love drafting. I mean, I'll fucking draft all day long. I love it. But as far as anything else, that's the only reason why I would buy a booster box, is to just draft. I don't get in the standard. I don't do anything else. That's it. I just draft. So Pauper and Commander is pretty much the only thing I play, and go figure, they're gonna make a ton of money off of Commander because of the pre-con decks. That's pretty much it. They do make some money, I would say, off of their current sets. I mean, they do kind of. Commander players do like seeing the new legendary creatures, and it can be interesting at times. But I don't think that Commander players are the big reason why they're focusing on Commander now with their newest sets. I don't think that they're selling their sets specifically for Commander players yet, but they are, they're obviously, Standard is their biggest cash cow. It always has been. That's where they get the most money off of. They're trying to squeeze whatever they can out of Modern before it basically turns into Legacy. And while I don't think they're going to make another reserve list, it's not to say that they won't do something maybe less severe, but they could do something to help slow the reprint of older cards in the Modern era. They could do something like that. While I don't think they're going to just absolutely halt reproduction and reprints of these cards, I definitely think they're going to try to pump the value up of these cards again so that they can move Modern out of the way. And I mean, if I'm Wizards of the Coast, I am loving this idea of the Frontier format. I don't think that there's really, there's no reason for Wizards to not promote Frontier as a format, because they're going to make money off of it. They're going to make a shitload of money off of it because people want to play a more competitive version of Standard with way more decks and way more options there. Unfortunately, Standard doesn't have that diversity that Frontier has. I think there's a Tarka Red is in Frontier. I mean, we got a lot of good decks. We have Jace, Vryn's Prodigy. We have a whole bunch of good cards in there. You still have the fetch lands from Khans of Tarkir that are technically in Frontier, and that's, again, making the format a little bit more expensive. But yeah, it should take the place of Modern. Maybe not now, maybe not in a couple years, but eventually it should take the place of Modern. And Modern will be what they've always wanted Legacy to be, and that's sort of something, maybe the less accessible format that they can still make money off of. Because they're not making money off of Legacy. They're just not. It's been a long time since they made money off of those cards. They're going to try to make as much money off of Modern with these Master sets. And Iconic Masters is obviously their attempt to continue to milk the Eternal formats as much as they can. I just hope that they give Pauper some of that love eventually. I obviously, we don't want to see a sealed product like a Master set dedicated solely to Pauper. That would be stupid. And they would have to sell the packs for like $2 a piece because, honestly, if it's all commons, I don't want to spend much money on them anyway. So what would I like? I would like maybe if you replace the bullshit Planeswalker decks or the intro decks with Pauper decks. Actual competitive and playable Pauper decks. That would be cool. That would be interesting, but I don't think they're ever going to do that because they do want to promote their current sets, and I doubt that they would put a lot of good Pauper staples, a lot of good Pauper cards into Standard. I just don't think that they would do that. It would be pretty chaotic if all the awesome cards were affordable. I don't know how that would work out. I think it would blow people's minds. But I hope that they do support Pauper, and it does need support beyond MTGO and beyond, casual play groups. It needs its own FNM events, which I know some game stores, they're smart enough to be holding them as they should be. Again, it is the best format to enter next to Commander. If I'm a new player, I don't want to give a shit about any other format, to be honest. It's Pauper and Commander. again, if you're trying to teach someone else and you don't want, if like they don't want to put a lot of investment into making a deck, Pauper's the perfect format. Wizards, they've always complained about this shit too. They always complain about, oh, we want new players to feel like they can afford all the decks that they want to build. But so what do? They reprint cards with the illusion that they're going to make this shit cheaper, but they, again, it never does make it significantly cheaper as to encourage buying it. Like buying into Modern, but they don't do anything for Pauper. They hardly mention it ever. Again, it pisses me off. They should definitely start talking about it. They should start promoting it. I mean, what's it gonna hurt? So you have like a scrub format for new players. Guess what? It's awesome. I fucking love it. Anyway, guys, if you like watching this video, please like, subscribe, share. I definitely want to do more of these videos where I talk about Pauper. I have other videos too where I do deck techs, I do rants, I do top 10s, do a whole bunch of awesome shit. And if you subscribe to me, I guarantee you I do at least 2 videos a day. So if you subscribe to me, I definitely pump out the content, man. I pump this shit out. Thanks for watching.